All right, everybody. Welcome to the very first Optimized podcast where high performance isn't the goal, it's the standard. We got our very first guest, and he's actually the guy who funded the whole thing. Daniel Newman, tech guru, self made, multiple supercars,
Hey.
18-inch arms, abs chiseled by Michael D'Angelo himself, and he recently shaved his goatee just for this podcast.
Just Michelangelo and no supercars. No, it's actually Michelangelo. Just
It's not Michael D'Angelo?
No.
Was that just the Ninja Turtle?
No, he was also just Michelangelo. But this is actually really funny. We should leave it.
I'm pretty sure it was Michael D'Angelo.
I'm 100% sure it's not.
Was it actually? You guys getting this?
Yeah, this is good stuff.
Yeah.
It is what it is,
Yeah.
Currently, I have ab envy.
Ab envy?
Yeah.
Your feed's just dudes shirtless?
Shirtless.
Yeah.
Because I try to figure out, when I'm ready.
Ready for what?
It's all about lighting.
Yeah.
In the right lighting, I'm ready to go.
Okay.
How do you want to kick this off?
I mean, what? You were talking about my arms, giving me shit about that. Although the first time I ever met this guy, I was telling him about peptides. And I was explaining to him, telling him how cool they are. And he looks at me and he's like, "You're not that big."
It's
And
true.
I was like, "Yo, what the?" I was like, "I just gotten out of surgery, first off, like 2 months ago. I haven't worked out for 2 months.
What'd you have surgery on?
Just I had to get some stuff taken out of my chest."
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, you should tell us all about that.
What is there to tell about that?
Yeah, I saw you. You were, it's kind of like if you have a fat PE teacher.
All right, let's calm down.
Even a trainer.
That's...
But my point is like, people generally want to, you see someone, you're like, what's my goal? So when someone's like, you should take this. And I'm like, why? And it's like, because I want to.
Well, it worked, didn't you?
But yeah, like I said, over time,
Yeah,
you earned my trust. I grew respect for you as a businessman. I've spent enough time in the gym with you. We're still working on the respect in the gym thing, but the business side, I respect you a ton. Like, young guy and ambitious, building a little empire of supplement stores, and we're doing the research peptide business. And I saw a bigger opportunity there, and that's pretty much where we started building, the bigger relationship. But yeah, you did a good job. Reminded me a little bit of someone I know.
Who?
That was, reminded me a little bit of myself. Like,
I'm glad this is on the podcast. This is the nicest Dan has ever been to me.
Yeah. Well, that's the point. Because we're on the record. So later on, you'll tell that when you go visit the business schools and stuff and tell them all about how you built this empire, you'll have to tell them about the one guy, the one investor you worked with, and just all the terrible days at the gym that you spent with him. Because every time he was like, you can do more sets, you can lift more weights.
Yeah, and it led me to
injury.
Yeah, it led me to a compressed disc, bulging out, hitting a nerve.
Yeah, you're
dismounted SI joint.
You're 26 years old.
I'm 25, but
even worse.
No.
As a young guy.
Yeah. So. By the way, I'm 6'2", like 200, 205 pounds. Like Dan saying that I'm small, I'm not gonna agree with that, but we could disagree.
Hopefully the viewers are watching the video so they can make their own decision. He's got to see, but I'm not flexing.
16,
not flexing.
16
this is just my
and
arm.
something.
You got this on camera?
He's just so flexing right now.
I'm not flexing. See, this is flexing.
This guy.
So, I don't have to flex a lot. It's like 18-inch without flexing. So
I had to convince him not to wear a jacket on this podcast, by the way.
I didn't want to show off all the goods.
That makes no sense.
Keep everybody in suspense.
Yeah. Okay. Meanwhile, his Twitter feed is just him shirtless.
No, that's very occasional.
You made stickers
I
for
did.
your iPhone of you.
No, but that's not
that
for Twitter. That's not for X. I just send those as replies to people.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it's like when you're showing off. It's like, me too. I can do that.
Yeah.
Ultimate flex, right?
It is the ultimate flex. That's actually a good point. You've killed it in business. This dude pulls up in a different supercar to the gym every day. Yeah. And now you're saying that's the ultimate form of success, like health, like fitness. Where would you say that turning point was?
Yeah. Well, I don't really talk first of all, I don't really talk about personal wealth. So a lot of the things I've done, I generically, yes. And with friends, you can know about things someone I work with or an associate, but I don't post that stuff online. You can go to my Instagram, you'll never see a picture of a car, house or any other things that I have. And, maybe it's just something from like me being a little older, being in my mid 40s. My dad's a boomer, was one of the guys that he used to drive like a truck. He was in trucking, like literally like semi tractor trailers. He owned a trucking company, and he always talked about privilege of poverty. And it was all about like, he'd drive crappy cars to work, even though he might have a nice car at home, because he never wanted like everyone to know he did well. He was kind of from that generation, where now we're in this kind of crazy generation. We have like people like flexing their jets and flexing their cars and their watches online. So that's just something about me, for whatever it's worth. So even if you ask me about that stuff, I won't confirm or deny if I have any nice things. But the backdrop that brought me to where I'm at, the stories wasn't nearly that way. Like, it wasn't a straight line by any means. But the health thing, kind of maybe starting just with that question, is like, when you've accomplished a lot of things and you kind of get to like middle age, and I'm kind of at middle age now. I'm 44.
Jeez.
I mean, if you live 88 years, I'm halfway into life, right? Like in your 40s, that's like the joke when you're a kid, like, Dad, go get a Porsche because he's having a midlife crisis. Like, that's like, I'm at that point now. Like, I'm not young anymore. Like, I have 3 kids. My oldest is 23, almost 24. She'll be 24 next month. And like, my younger daughter's 20, and I have a 9-year-old son. One marriage, but kids really spread out. I've been raising kids since I was like 20. So I started super duper young. And like when you kind of have accomplished some things, like you've had some good success at work, you kind of own all the things that people like tell you as you're growing up. Like, what do I need to do? You need to own a house. You need to have a good job. You need to, provide for the family. You need to put away money for your retirement. Like all the stuff you learn, like when you're basically learning the basics of like what you're supposed to do when you grow up. And by the way, all that's bullshit. There's so many like so much under education that they give you in terms of like the difference between people who are truly successful and the people that are not successful. But just most people never get exposed to that info. That may be for a whole nother podcast. But like, you sort of look at yourself and you're like, all of a sudden you're in your 40s. And like, I was a collegiate athlete. I wasn't like top. I played Division II soccer at a school called Truman State in Missouri. Played for a couple of years before I impregnated my wife. That's what happened. She wasn't my wife then either. I mean, true story. We were just dating. Ended up getting married. Success story. The rest is history. But, I was fit. I was. What do you guys say at your age? Swole, peeled, jacked. What do you?
They named that after me, by the way.
Jack. What you call yourself? John? Or no, you're John. You're Jack.
My real name's John.
Your real name's John, but you go by Jack.
Even my parents call me Jack.
Yeah. Because you're like, I'm not John. I'm jacked.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
That's where they called me.
But like you remember your fitter days. Like you kind of get older, and like I always worked out. Like this was never a problem for me. I was like, there was like maybe some small windows of time, like when I was working a lot and had little babies, that like my exercise was definitely less consistent than it was. But like, I went through high school, college. I was the, strongest kid on my soccer team in high school, bench more, squatted more. In college, I was like the top bench in my fraternity and in the soccer team. Always had good strength. I was like 5'11", 185 or so when I played collegiate soccer. Pretty jacked at the time. And, I was benching well over 300 pounds. Something I don't think you can do yet. Even close, actually,
no,
from what I've seen.
True.
It's not that close. Probably hurt yourself. But anyways. But then, like, you start having kids and you just kind of accept, like, you look in the mirror. It's funny now because, like, after the last 9 months and since we've gotten to know each other, I've obviously gone through quite a bit of a transformation. Cut my body fat like in half while actually maintaining my size, which there's a lot of backstory there. I'm bigger. I don't weigh more than I did. Because when I started, I was like, the pictures I show you, and you can put them in the pod. I'll send them to you so you can actually share them with people. But I was like, I was like 5'11". I was like almost 240. I was like, it was crazy. And like, just like still, like you could see in the pictures, like the frame was still there, like big shoulders, big arms, but like, getting growing like man boobs just a little bit, like, you hanging a bra in the closet. Is that mine? He's like, here's honey. Just like totally like, just like, and by the way, you could still like stand tall in the mirror and kind of hold yourself. Like, I look okay. But then like, it's not then. It's like when someone takes a random photo of you and you're like sitting on the couch and you like see you got like a poofy belly and like, side boobs, like, but I'm being sincere. Like, you're like, holy shit. Like, that's not the healthiest me. And so I like, running a business, being, CEO of a bunch of different companies and having a family and all this stuff. You're like, health matters, and some of it was like, I went to my doctor and like got blood work done. And I haven't been super consistent about that, by the way. It was something that like, I guess like, when you're in your 30s, you just don't think it's a priority. Like,
But it's so important.
but it is important. There's so much to learn from it. Making that stuff easy and accessible. And that's a lot of the problem. Like, there's so many problems with the healthcare system. Like, even as a wealthy person that has access to resources, it's like the convenience. Like, yeah, you can go to these places and like, but just getting an appointment to go see your doctor, a physical, it's like, you want to schedule something like 3 months ahead. It's like 3 months. Like, I just want to like, I just want it to be easy, accessible. I want it to be online, digital on my app and all that stuff. But like, so I didn't do it. But I got the blood work and it's like, a lot of the markers just weren't great. It wasn't terrible, but like, obviously, beyond the height and weight, blood pressure was higher than it should be. Cholesterol was high. Again, I have some debates about whether it needs to be where all the doctors say. I'm not a doctor, so like, and obviously different doctors, functional doctors versus like standard internists have different opinions on that. And as I've learned and gotten involved with you and building Optimize, like I've learned a lot, read a lot about that. But like, really, and I have some good friends. My friend Patrick Moorhead, I've introduced you to him. Like, he got really into his health journey. He lost like 70 pounds, and I just saw how much like better he felt. He was seeing a functional medicine doctor. He was doing actually peptides. That was the first time I really heard about peptides was with him. But like, just kind of like hearing and seeing all this stuff, it's like, God, I don't want to be like fat dad. I don't want to be like this, out of shape, middle age. And like, when you have money, it's like, who cares? It's like, you don't have your health. It doesn't matter. So, I kind of just came around to the idea of like, why not get back into shape? Like, I love working out, I love exercising, and like, why just go through the motion? I think that's what happens to a lot of people like me. It's like you just go through the motion for a long time. It's like I went because I was already going to HCI when I met you. I was a regular there. I'd worked out consistently, but like, you just get to that point when you're like, I go, I do my stuff, I leave, and like, you're not building anything. I wasn't writing anything down. I wasn't working on increasing weight. I just did what kind of felt good on a given day.
Yeah.
It just wasn't like, for what? So it's like, this is something I can get into. And I think it's really representative, how you do anything is how you do everything. It's kind of that thing like, so why do I put all this into work? Why do I put all this into family and kind of just let myself just kind of half-ass it? It's like,
Yeah.
no, fuck that. Like,
You want to be the best physical, mental, professional, and personal.
yeah. I mean, my read is like, it also it all ties together. Like, when you're on your game, when you feel great, like 10 years before I did anything with you, I had like a video. It's called like Fit CEO. It was like I was creating like kind of social content. And it was like the idea of like fit body, fit mind. And I do think the two things are symbiotic. Like, you do not have you do not have clarity when you have fog. And when you have fog, it's usually because of the way you take care of your health. It's your sleep. Like, people do not prioritize sleep enough. Like, so much of getting fit comes down to you grow when you sleep.
Yeah.
Everything happens in your sleep. What you eat, you are what you eat. People always joke about that, but like, I haven't had a soda or a energy drink since I started this journey. I don't even miss them. Like, I love Diet Coke. I love Red Bull, sugar free usually, or like Monsters. I mean, I could drink 3 or 4 of those in a day. I haven't had one. I'm more energized than I've ever been. Like, that stuff's all poison. It's like what you put in your body. Like, I still like create, I make things that are interesting, but like, I have like 10 ingredients that are like staples to my life. And I'm very routine, which some people like that, some people don't. Like, I do not think you can optimize your body and become like into what you define as like super fit without having routine. Your workout routines, your sleep routines, your eating routines. You have to be very regimented. You don't have to be boring though. And that's what a lot of people like don't realize. Like, you can be interesting with food. Like, I've learned all kinds of different ways with like cottage cheese and
Cottage cheese
chicken,
pizza, chicken pizza.
yeah,
Like, always
make
sending me
pizza.
photos.
Yeah, I make stuff all the time. I mean, I try to be creative because it gets boring. I make buffalo dips and stuff. I use, with the different things and, um, just high protein. By the way, Greek yogurt's magic. Sub it in for No, you
but
just sub it
anything.
in for sour creams. You sub it
Yeah.
in for so many different high fat like things, and you can make so many good recipes. And by the way, when you get really fit, like kind of junk food does start to taste like crap. Like it actually tastes like crap. It might be the retatrutide.
Messes up your
A little bit of
stomach
it
too.
might be the retatrutide, which we could talk about later. But
Yeah.
like a combination of kind of the impact of the peptides and when you do get fit. And then obviously everything becomes about sort of wanting to always get to the next level.
Yeah. Be the best. I mean, we can go back to that part that you were talking about as to you essentially described what you were looking for in the healthcare industry and you essentially made it with Optimize.
Well, yeah. I mean, so I was saying like it's just care, is not designed for the way most people live. And the system is just so fundamentally flawed. And there's other experts that can talk. I've listened to some great podcasts on Rogan and other channels. Like these people are just experts in what's broken about healthcare.
Yeah.
So I'm not going to focus on that deeply. But what I will just say is like everything we do in life now is so convenient. You need anything from planning travel to ordering groceries to any sort of household good that you need. I mean, you click a button on Amazon, it comes to your door, or it's just at your disposal. Food, transportation, consumer goods. Yet when you want healthcare, it's like a rodeo. It's like you're getting on the bull every single time. It's like you wait forever. Care is inconsistent. The doctors are rushed. All that is just crap. And so the bottom line is there's certain things like the expectations are low, but like I've watched like companies, and one of the model companies I've always told you about it was Hims. Like I look at Hims, and Hims is a little different than what I see Optimize being, because Hims is really, in my opinion, about the personalized and convenience of health that I want. But it wasn't necessarily about like optimizing for performance.
Yeah.
It was a little more focused on sexual health. It was a little bit more focused on like hair loss, which is all good. Clearly, by the way, this is not, you cannot help this at this point. There's no help for this head. But like, but I wanted to kind of build something that's similar to the journey that I took, which was about like finding peak performance.
Yeah.
And by the way, peak performance is different for everybody. So like for me, I run businesses, I'm an investor, I'm a VC, I'm an athlete, I'm all these different things, but like I want to be the best, a dad, a father, husband, brother, all those things. I want to be the best, everything I do. And I've just absolutely found that by being in peak physical condition, it opens up the doors to doing everything else. I want to open that up and make that available to people. And the other thing is I think like a lot of the therapies that are available to people right now are not well understood. Like pharmaceuticals are not the answer. I was listening to a great conversation the other day that basically, and again, these are, there's a lot of medical opinions out there, and there's a counter opinion to every opinion. But I heard something that basically like one doctor was telling about how, he could basically predict the end of someone's life at any point by just starting to just like looking into what pharmaceuticals they're taking. Basically, once you get on the path of being on medication, it starts to tell you like kind of a path and a journey to when the end of your life is. Because it's basically like the system is like regimented in such a way that you get into this series of different medications. Maybe it starts with a blood pressure medicine or a statin or one of these things. And each thing snowballs to another thing, which ends up needing another thing to offset the side effects of the first thing. And then it's like at some point, you're just on 5, 6, 7, 8 medications a day.
Yeah.
And you're not, by the way, you're not improving anything. You're just masking symptoms, or you're just covering, or you're taking something. And by the way, they don't even agree. Like doctors don't even agree whether or not like LDL cholesterol actually is what causes a cardiovascular incident. Like a lot of doctors say it's more about inflammation markers. And most standard blood work doesn't really even look into the types of inflammation that is going to be indicative. But when you have the financial wherewithal and you have the access to something better, and this is where I became so like fascinated by peptides, because when it started, like I thought peptides were semaglutide. That's kind of was the introduction to me. Like, oh, it's the magic weight loss drug, you take the potion and then by the way, like the way the pharma industry was doing it, it was like overdose too much. And like all the people I knew that were on it were like, they went from like fat to skinny. I called it skinny fat because like they lost a ton of weight really fast. They weren't getting like the whole therapeutic and sort of holistic medicine, the functional medicine that you really require, because like those things are incredibly powerful, like semaglutide, tirzepatide, or in the future retatrutide, when that becomes, and I do expect it'll get FDA approved, but I mean, what do I know? But when those things, are dosed correctly, and then with a proper diet, with nutrition, with sleep, with supplementation, and possibly other powerful peptides, that becomes like the absolute. And I mean, depending on your need, it could be hormone replacement, it could be testosterone, it could be, different things for managing, if you're a woman, for perimenopause, but like different regimens and then different supplementation plus peptides, it's like a fountain of youth.
Yeah.
And I mean, anyone that knows me, Jack, knows like I've lost like 10 years in the last year. Like I'm younger, I'm stronger, I'm fitter, and I feel great. And like I said, it's not any one thing, it's all the things.
Yeah. I mean, 100%. Like you said it, like your first, and I feel like a lot of people's first exposure to peptides is the GLP-1s, the semaglutide and tirzepatide, but there's so many more that are actually going in and fixing different problems in your body. And like you said, the biggest issue with those is that people just are not eating and they're losing muscle, not just fat. And it's about going and looking at the blood work. And that's why Optimize is so unique. It's the only thing out there that, you have a wellness consultant that's going to help you through the process. You have a meeting with a doctor, you're getting your blood work done. Like you're going to get a custom program made exactly for you based on your exact biomarkers.
Yeah.
And that's the beauty of it. That's the customization, personalization, and access to a multitude of peptides and various other medications, not just peptides, that are going to help you along that whole process.
And
You're actually fixing problems.
And it's not just, to add one to what you're saying, is beyond just the biomarkers, it's also about what you want from your journey. Like, what does optimize mean to you? Because that's what I loved about it. Like, for me, it might be like 19-inch biceps and a 32-inch waist and a six pack. Like, that might be mine. But like, for a lot of dads, it might just be, hey, I just want to hit the best shape I've ever been in. Like,
Yeah.
maybe that means, they have a goal of, being able to complete a half marathon. Maybe that means they have a goal of, being able to bench 2 plates. Maybe they want to play basketball. Maybe they want to, and what I'm saying is like every person has that different, like, what does optimize mean? What does a high performance experience mean for you? And so there's a whole bunch of different ways to sort of go after that and approach that. And that's what I really like about the idea of personalizing, but with a bend towards performance, is like, what does great performance mean to you? What does it mean in your marriage? What does it mean in your professional and work and career? What does it mean at the gym or in any sort of, athletic or recreational stuff you do? Maybe you want to ski fast. Maybe you want to, climb Mount Everest. I mean, I don't know what you want to do, but it's like, I love the idea. For me, it was like, I just want to absolutely be peak physical condition, but I wanted to do it with a focus on strength, bodybuilding, and excellence in my physique. And when I did all that, it really changed all those regimens. It changed my my relationship I have with food and with diet. And when I did it, it changed my way I view sleep. Like how important it was to build. Like it wasn't just about any one thing. Like I said, it was about all the things.
Yeah. I mean, like you said, and optimization is different for everybody. Like I have guys who they message me and they're just thankful that they can go play golf again, right? Like they were literally saying their knees would hurt so bad they couldn't walk for days after just playing 18 holes of golf. So they just couldn't do it anymore. And now they're out playing golf, hanging out with their grandkids. Like even something as simple as that would seem so easy, especially to me, right? Like playing golf seems easy. Like to other people is totally life-changing being able to do that.
Yeah, I think that's where I said, like, what we want to build is where there's that kind of multi-factor of like, hey, what does being optimized at this stage of your life mean to you? What are your big goals in terms of your health? And then we can talk about everything. Because I mean, part of the whole peptide regimen is it's like some of them are great for mental clarity. Some of them are great for reducing inflammation, optimizing, cellular repair. Some of them help your gut, and cleansing and, healing your gut, which by the way, I'm read so much stuff about the importance of like your gut biome and the impact
Second
that has
brain.
on health. Yeah. Like, get that right. And it seems like a lot of other things really fall into place, and then you have like, what do you want from a standpoint of like strength, performance, your physical strength, like, because there's a whole regimen of peptides there. And then, of course, like I said, there's also supplementation of, hormone treatments like HRT, growth hormone, and testosterone. Like so far, I've been focused on the peptides, but like the great thing about what we're doing at Optimize is like we can help you with the rest. Like you want to, you need, if your biomarkers and your data from your testing, your blood work suggests your testosterone level are low, like that's such a handicap for so many guys. Like you get that fixed, totally changes your outlook on life. So, being able to match the even like sexual health, like after, you know, I'm still in good shape, but like after like, 50, 60, like at some point, like it, being able to, do that in your marriage or your relationships, like, Optimize has the solutions for that too. And I think that's great. I think that's important. Like I said, didn't want to lead there, but that is part of optimization. Like part of it is that like, you know, so it was really thinking very holistically about what being the best you looks like and building that sort of really streamlined, easy to do business with, totally online, totally,
Personalized.
yeah, and frictionless. Frictionless.
Yeah.
So like peptides to your door.
Yeah. Straight to your door. Easiest situation there is. And then what's great about it is that there's something for everybody, right? Like no matter what it is, everybody can benefit from it. Like even guys, like I know a lot of guys my age are, you bring up testosterone and like, oh, you should go get checked your testosterone. They're like, dude, I'm 20 something years old. Like I don't have low test, da da da. Like I went in, me, my little brother, and my dad, and this is when I was 20, and my little brother was 17 or 16, and we all went in exact same time, and my dad had the highest testosterone at 60 than both of us. My dad was in the 500s, I was in the 400s. My little brother was also in the 400s, and we were like, that's crazy that my dad at 60 something years old had higher tests than his two kids who were apparently at their peak. And then that's what kind of led me to do all this research and looking into it. And testosterone has been going down in males by 1% on average every single year since 1980. So that means right now you have like 45% of the test that your father had when he was your age, which is insane to me.
Yeah. It's there's a lot of things, whether that's sort of big chemical, like all the food and what goes into our food and plastics and all that stuff surely impacts it. Some of it's our sleep, some of it's our stress. A lot of things start with stress.
Yeah.
So inflammation really is a byproduct of stress in so many ways. So, but like, yeah, it's a real issue figuring out. And again, there's actual hormone replacement type therapies, and there's also peptides.
Yeah, that naturally increase
that naturally help your body wake up.
Yeah.
To testosterone levels, and so the great thing is like with Optimize is, you go get a little blood drawn and off you go.
Yeah.
And everything else just happens.
Yeah, it's all laid out for you. Your blood work is read for you.
Yeah.
You can look at it yourself, obviously, but you'll find out exactly what you need. And believe it or not, Dan is not on TRT.
I'm not.
Yeah, that is. I guarantee you, there's going to be people commenting. There's no way.
I'm not against it, by the way. I just don't not on it yet. So, if the conditions call for it and there's a reason, I would definitely consider it.
He's on a peptide that boosts his testosterone.
HCG.
To be fair, yeah. But no TRT.
No, not yet.
Impressive stuff.
Keep my line open though.
Yeah. Let's go through your exact protocol let's start in when you started semaglutide and what progress you made on that, and let's kind of go through the motions all the way up to now.
Yeah, so that was the first peptide I took. And it was okay. I took an oral drops. I was actually, people would never believe it now that know me because I'm like a pin cushion,
How many pins do you think a day?
Anywhere from 6 to 10 probably on average. Probably some days actually a few more than that, depending on, it's a lot. But I also, some people combine the different peptides into like a single. I always think it's more sanitary and safer to just inject each peptide individually.
Yeah.
Obviously, you can take anything to any limit. You don't need to be on 10. Like I'll give a few, at least personal thoughts on which ones I think are most powerful that I would. But like the first was semaglutide oral. I don't think the oral worked great. I definitely have come to the believer that injectable is just a better way to go if you can handle it. And, again, it's all about titration. It's all about the dosage. But it was just about like, it definitely gave me some appetite suppression in the first few weeks. And I did lose about 10 pounds, maybe over the first probably 60 days
Off the oral?
off the oral, which wasn't terrible. I got to like, I felt great. And actually at the time I thought I was like jacked. I looked great. Like looking back at like what I thought I looked great then versus now, it's like, wow. Because I was probably still like 16, 17% at that point. But anyways, and then I think and that was before I knew you, by the way. I did that through a different service. I never would do that again. It's all optimized all the time now. But and then, I switched to an injectable, and that definitely worked better. It was like way more potent. Only challenges I had was like, I think it took a little while to get like the dosage right, because I took too much at first. And this is why, like I said, I think all those like kind of pharmaceutical prescriptions, not the compounded stuff where it's like, those are super doses.
Yeah.
Like those people lose weight because you can't eat. You literally cannot eat. But it works well. I mean, it's really good. And the best thing about it is it sort of retrained my relationship with food. Like I just survived without it. I lost weight, but I still worked out, still lifted, still try to get my protein in. But I could definitely see how you could go down the wrong way with that. You could definitely get into like just not eating. And if you do eat, you eat like snacks and junk. You don't get high macro food. And then like you're so dead. You're going to lose all the wrong weight. You'll lose it fast. Like your body's so punitive. Like when you don't give it protein, it is so punitive. Like you will lose muscle so much. You'll work so hard to gain a pound of muscle. And then by the way, it's like it's a vicious cycle because you lose muscle and then your body becomes less efficient. So then when you actually start gaining weight back, it's harder to lose it again because now you're losing it with less muscle than the last time. But then when I started working with you, I started, I think, with kind of what I would call a standard cocktail, like of BPC,
Yep.
157 TB, which is kind of like they call it with the Wolverine.
Yeah. Miracle word.
Yeah, it's the best. And it was a combination of, biggest thing that it really did for me was just kind of just repair. So the ability to work out more frequently. So, being on a good dose of PPC gave me the ability to just get back a little bit more often. So I went from like a 4 or 5 to almost a 6-day training regimen, and I feel great. Like I could work out 7. I really don't ever need a day off. And that's like something totally changed. Like if I did a hard leg day or something, I would be like crawling for like 2 or 3 days. At worst, now I'm sore for like 6, 7 hours. And anybody that watches me knows I push hard. Like I'm not like a guy that's like not hitting it hard. It's just my recovery has just become outstanding. And then, I did the growth hormone entry level stuff, ipamorelin
Yeah.
and
CJC.
CJC.
Yeah.
And that was the kind of the first combination, the first couple of things. And I think that was when I first started. Those are the couple of things that you and I talked about and you gave me. And then I started to just basically say, show me everything. And so, I started kind of looking across all the different things. And, I wouldn't say like I'm experimenting on myself, but like, doing a lot of reading. There was some oral that you did introduce me to that I started taking, 5-amino, SLU, PP, which like, both of them are good for fat metabolizing and, energy.
Yep.
The other one, by the way, that you did introduce me to before that was NAD+. And NAD+ is like the everyone, everybody can benefit from this. It's just like, there's a lot of like cellular level value of NAD+, and they do it at a lot of wellness spas. It's kind of popular. There's a lot of oral forms that people try to sell. I don't think it's super bioavailable. I think that's a little scammy.
Yeah. If it's straight NAD in a pill, does not bioavailable.
Yeah, you can't really do that. But what I do know is just like kind of feel good. It's like the feel good peptide. Like you want to feel good, a little NAD, a little glutathione, and it just kind of keeps you.
B12.
Yeah, it's kind of like that. It's like the IV you get at the wellness spa. Probably has it actually.
Yeah.
So there was that. But then, like I said, we went to the SLU and 5-amino, HCG. Test was not where I wanted it to be. So HCG is a natural peptide that peptides are like these little chains of amino acids that basically send a signal to your body to remind your body to do something that it used to do better.
I call them the AI of human evolution.
I like that. Yeah.
Because that's what it is.
It's definitely some sort of like machine learning for sure.
Yeah.
And then, then we started adding, some of we added GHKCU, which was, why I got this baby face.
That's why he doesn't look 44.
Look younger. It's like actually because I shaved my goatee.
That was yesterday, by the way, guys. I'm still getting used to him looking like this.
I look great. No, I'm just kidding. I do look younger. My son's like, "Is that you?" My iPhone was like, "Is that you?"
The iPhone didn't work. How wild is that?
I had to retrain.
Face ID did not work on his iPhone.
I had to reprogram my iPhone because I needed to do a new Face ID. It did not recognize me. And then it's sort of just like I said, we've definitely tried a few other things from there. We had a little spell. You introduced me to IGF-1 DES. Remember that one?
Yep.
And we took that one for a while, and that was like a super short half-life. It was like 20 minutes. You like take it right before you worked a muscle group, and it was like, it's like I said, I talk about the IGF just being totally honest. It's a peptide, and it's totally acceptable. So it's not gear, but at the same time, like these IGF-1s are as close to being on any sort of gear as you can get in the peptide chains. Like this stuff is like all about quick gains in size, and I'll tell you about LR3 in a minute because that came later. But then I think the big ads that kind of came after that were I added a sleep peptide because one of the things I started to figure out through my journey was like if you want to grow, you got to sleep well. And so I started tracking my sleep a lot more closely. Notice I'm not getting as much deep sleep as I want, not as much restorative, which is your deep and your REM. And so I'm like, is there a peptide for that? And Jack's like, yep, there's a peptide for that too.
And that's what matters. Like, like you can get 8 hours of sleep, but if your REM and deep sleep suck, like you're going to feel like shit.
Yeah, you have to focus not on just sleep and the kind of sleep. And by the way, most of your deep sleep comes early. So part of the reason I started going to bed early is because like most of your deep sleep happens before midnight. So people that go to bed late don't get a lot of deep sleep.
Yeah.
And so, I added DSIP. So that kind of added to the regimen. And then I think there was a couple others in there. I testosterone with my ipamorelin.
Yep.
So it's a different stack, slightly different. One's a little more dry. One's a little more wet. This is all technical jargon, but like in terms of your gains, but like testosterone, you take at night, helps sleep. Another one that helps with sleep a lot. Also saw a lot of gains there. We mentioned earlier, and research peptides. And then there's the ones you prescribe, and those are different. But definitely played with retatrutide. That's an interesting one. It might be one of the best ones. Really, one that I hope the FDA approves because it's like a GLP-3, right? It's like the next iteration, way better, by the way.
It's the latest and greatest.
The others are good, but this is better, and it's definitely a powerful way because you can basically really get your appetite and I always say it gets your blood sugar into this perfect state. Your body's blood sugar levels are in this perfect state to be in a fat melting zone all the time.
Yeah,
just melting fat.
Retatrutide's crazy,
but no muscle loss.
Yeah, that's the biggest thing. No muscle
loss. So that's incredible. And then, like I said, kind of cycled on and off a few other things. AOD, which is basically just specific proteins that are like in part of a strand of growth hormone that helps your body with fat metabolizing. Yeah. So, and I'm not on all these all the time, but like it's been pretty incredible. And then brain. I've been every day for probably 4 months now. I've taken CMAX, which is another peptide that basically helped soldiers with concentration. It was developed in Russia, actually. Yeah, it's super cool. But I definitely noticed higher levels of concentration, higher levels of clarity.
My brain fog is just gone.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
Get a little CMAX, a little NAD+, a little glutathione each week. Like these are the little GHKCU. Like these are like wellness, just feeling good. They're not going to make you big in the gym. They're not going to change, but like in terms of like strong in the boardroom, good in the classroom, good at home, good conversation, being able to focus.
The amount of people who have told me that they got off their Adderall prescription from CMAX and NAD, that's like insane to me. They've been taking it since they were like 8.
I have no idea if that's true, but that would be great because those meds are just terrible for you.
Yeah,
they really are. So, yes, it's quite a regimen, and like you know me, Jack. I mean,
you didn't talk about your favorite one.
Which one?
LR3.
Oh yeah, I gotta finish my thought. But me is like, I'm always asking. Like I see a new peptide, because peptides, there's so many. Like that's the thing is like people hear about 3 or 4. You might hear about like BPC, sermorelin or ipamorelin, CJC, and you hear about like, semaglutide. Like these are the peptides like people know about. There's kind of like a peptide for everything,
Oh my
which is amazing. And there's like so many, and obviously they're not all widely, like you have to kind of have the right wellness, specialist, the right doctor, the one that kind of understands what you're trying to do and need. But you get underneath that and like, your regimen, there could be 5, 8, 10 different peptides all serving a purpose. And like I said, what's great is it's just, there's none of the negative side effects, like nothing. Worst thing that's ever happened to me is I poked myself in the finger with a needle, but like like there's no side effects. It's just being better and performing better in every area. Now, again, it's all about the wellness, specialist and the doctor and you working against your blood work and everything to figure out what the right ones are. But I mean, it's like you call it the AI of human evolution, but this is just like the ultimate biohack. It's the ultimate hack to, maximizing performance and getting like the best possible results and doing so like with a really good safety profile, like a really good safety profile. And that's the thing is like pharmaceuticals, most of the medicines, not peptides. There's a reason that like the pharma brigade doesn't love peptides or wants to, they want to control peptides is because like I think there's a really realistic probability that some of these peptides could decrease the dependence on a lot of pharmaceuticals. Because, when you get, for instance, on these semaglutides or zepatides or even retatrutide, your blood work gets better, your cholesterol levels a bit better, your blood sugar, levels, A1C, all those things that like get you into that starting line of getting into more and more of these harder, pharmaceutical drugs that are basically like myalgia and, brain fog and all the things. I mean, you listen to the side effects, you listen to like TV in the morning, it's the side effects of most of these prescription drugs. It's like, I'd just rather die than take some of these things. It's brutal. And like, so, trying to stay off that stuff, staying strong, staying fit, staying healthy, and doing it with a balance of, peptides, supported by the kind of doctors that we work with at Optimize that really are about functional medicine, about maximum performance, not about just loading you up with a bunch of different medications because it's like ticking the box. Like, I mean, people get prescribed with depression medicine. They fill out like 8 questions on a form with like a frowny face on it. Like, oh, I'm frowny, I'm sad. Like, I'm not saying depression is not real, but I'm saying like we've made it like, is that really the litmus test?
Yeah. You're not treating the cause of the depression. Like, why are they depressed?
But how do you even like the doc? Because there is no actual test like blood work that says, oh, this is a depression. Even ADD is like, it's not really, it's mostly by a bunch of questionnaires that you take with a psychologist to figures out whether you are or aren't. I mean, if you just answer the questions right, you can get your Adderall. I mean, like it's a problem. But if you could actually fix some of these things by changing your lifestyle, and by the way, the food. I mean, again, like I'm not a nutritionist. I think it's important I say that, and I don't study like food chemistry. But what I will tell you is, you get on real food and it changes your life. Like you feel different. Like I don't really eat anything out of a package anymore, ever. Like, I mean, eggs, avocado, sourdough, chicken, salmon, steak, like Greek yogurt, cottage cheese. Like I could live on those like 8 things. Some blueberries, some greens. That's it. That's it. Like you eat those things. Like you can eat those things like until you're stuffed every day. Hard to gain weight when you eat that kind of food. When you eat real food.
I have a question for you about that actually, because what a lot of people are going to say is that they struggle like being able to do that, and even if they stick with it for a week, they still crave a bag of Doritos. Do you think that making your hormones optimizing your hormones, optimizing everything going on inside your body helps you to be more consistent outside your body, helps you to want to eat better, be better, add in all those lifestyle changes?
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of components to people's, I think a lot of people have complicated relationships with food. I did for a long time. I love to eat. Like eating's awesome. Like I couldn't watch like a football game without like having a bag of chips and like, and by the way, when you get when you get your body in a good state of being kind of optimized, pun intended, you can have some of that stuff. Like I said, I don't really eat it, but like yesterday, like, there's like these Trader Joe Cheetos. They're like, they're like a little healthier, I guess. But like my wife gets them, and like I like Cheetos, like crunchy Cheetos. Anyways, so like I grabbed the bag. I had like 5 of them. Like that's good. Like it used to be like I grabbed the bag, I couldn't like stop eating, or like we get these good like 3-ingredient tortilla chips. And like yesterday, and over the weekend watching football games, because I love to eat like nachos, So I make like a ton of like grilled chicken, and I make like black beans and cut up an avocado, and like I take like 6 or 7 big chips, on the plate, and I just like melt a little cheese, a little guacamole, like a little smashed avocado, some grilled chicken, some fresh salsa, and I eat them. It's like, is it as good as like cheese jar and like, like smashed in like, high fatty ground beef? It's like, no, but you can eat lean ground beef, you eat you eat avocado. And by the way, it's not fat, it's not carbs, it's like not all those things. I mean, it really is about good, high quality food, and kind of operating when you're trying to cut like kind of into a deficit, or when you're trying to grow like a slight surplus, but always just quality. And I mean, the hardest thing is just the money. It's like the hardest thing is just, financially, but like it's expensive to eat well. It just is. Like there's no way around it, but it's also really taxing on your body not to. So you kind of pay either way.
Yeah, 100%. And I think that along with that, I just think that optimizing your hormones, especially men, getting your test in the right level. If you are feeling depression, if you are struggling at work, if you're struggling at school, if you're struggling with anything, optimizing those hormones will make you better in it. Like it's the classic saying that I told you: bigger arms, bigger dick, bigger bank account. That's what I can guarantee if you get your test right.
Yeah, I mean, I'll let you be the slogan guy on that. And that was funny. There's a backstory to that. Like first time I did like a picture without like a shirt on, and that was a big thing. Like always like never felt super confident to do it, but like what the hell?
Now he does it all the time.
Not all the time.
He's the guy who's lifting his shirt up in the gym.
Yeah, well, looks, just making sure it's still there. But we had a first picture. It was kind of cool, and I mean, like with great lighting, with like a real photographer, like holding like 225 on a deadlift, and this guy puts over that slogan, like over like we were still like, sort of manifesting what this would be, and bigger arms, bigger dick, bigger bank account.
Yeah.
I mean, not for everyone. I mean, not for half the population, but like,
yeah.
But like, I mean, yeah, when you're acting, operating, and thinking clearest and feeling your best, you're definitely going to have your best performance. And good things in business come from that, and the financial benefits. And yeah, I mean, look, confidence is great for men. If you want to attract attract my wife, or you want to attract a woman, or your woman, whatever, like being, feeling strong, feeling confident, feeling successful, people notice that. That's good for attracting whoever you're trying to attract. Like,
yeah, women too. Confidence.
Oh yeah, it matters. It matters a lot. But hey, I'll just really quickly. Yeah. So my last peptide was, I did 2 months of IGF LR3, IGF-1 LR3, and I came into that, and I was like 216 when I started, and I was like 12, maybe 12.5%, maybe when I did that on the InBody. And I was like, I want to get a little stronger. And so I took that for 2 months, and I think I put on 8 pounds.
In 2 months.
8 pounds lean. I cut from 12.5 to 11% flat. Got so strong. I mean, crazy strong. Like I said, I said the IGF-1s are like the closest thing in the peptide family to gear. Definitely one that I'll be interested to see how that one evolves, but like powerful stuff. I mean, if you're listening to this and your goal is like get big, I mean, yeah, check that out. I mean, like
check that out.
I mean, talk to your wellness specialist, talk to your doctor. You'll make sure your blood work's in good shape, and where that's something that you can do. But that is the most powerful, like anabolic or whatever you'd call it, from a standpoint of muscle building that I've seen. And I've tried a lot of peptides.
Yeah. Yeah, that's crazy. 8 pounds. That's insane.
And I'm a big guy, so I mean, I'm like 224 now. I'm saying like I was already, but I mean, and by the way, I also in that period reintroduced carbs, which is helpful. You add like something like that that's powerful, and for a long time I was mostly almost eating, I wasn't like keto, but like I was like very much low carb, lean stuff. So you heard everything I was eating, like chicken and avocado and steak, and but now I'm eating more sweet potato. Yeah. Sweet potatoes, man, so good. Eating a little more sourdough, more bread. More berries and more fruit. You know, adding a little more like rice. I'll have chicken or steak with a little bit of rice. Like I realize carbs don't kill you, especially around your workouts. Like guys, if you're like out there trying to be strong in the gym, like right before you work out and after you work out, like your body's in such a great state, especially if you're like on that right peptide regimen. Like it's going to use everything that you feed it. Like you don't gain weight. And that's probably one of the biggest things too, is when you kind of go from cutting to gaining, but wanting to gain, like is realizing you can actually optimize your body in a surplus.
Yeah.
Like I absolutely, that was the biggest thing I think I changed really with all the combination of food and regimen was I entered for the first time in a state where I was in a state of like perfect harmony in a surplus, meaning I'm getting bigger, I'm getting stronger, but I was getting leaner. Like, you know, I was like, I gained 8 pounds, but I lost 1.5% body fat. So literally in the process of gaining 8 pounds, I actually gained like 10 because I like gained 10 pounds of muscle because I gained 8 pounds of weight while losing body fat.
Yeah.
I mean, it's amazing that you could do that, but like your body's can be quite harmonious when you get all this stuff into the right mix.
Yeah. 100%. It's all about putting your body in the best state to do whatever goal you're trying to do, whether that's have more fun with your grandkids,
Yeah.
you know, get bigger arms, lose weight, whatever it is, perform better. You know, there's a peptide regimen stack for that, and it's easily accessible with Optimize.
It is. I mean, that's the whole point and why I'm so excited. Why I decided to seed this thing and invest in this thing was, one of my business things is like get into things that you love. I mean, you hear a lot of that nonsense from your teachers and all those people out there about, oh, find something you love and you'll never work. It's like, that's not exactly right. But if you can get involved in things that you really are passionate about, like, look, it's fun. I mean, you guys go to the gym, you're working. I mean, you're working out and you're working.
Yeah.
Like you're talking to everybody, you're building relationships. It's part of what impressed me about you. You're a social guy. I expect every member of HCI and every member of, every gym that you go to, to become members and clients of Optimize, patients of Optimize, and I think that we will build a national business, a national operation that will be serving the highest performers, the people that truly want to invest in themselves, and realizing that that's the first investment. Invest in you first, and then all the other things kind of inside out.
Yeah.
It works so much better. Be strong, be happy, be fit, be well, and also, like I said, just raises every part of your game. Every part of your game.
Yeah, in all aspects of life.
Totally.
That's the thing. Like, you want to be not just optimized in the gym, but optimized outside of the gym, outside. Optimized not just physically, but optimized mentally. Like, being optimized is a whole spectrum of things. And it's making it all, not just optimized in one area, but making sure you're optimized everywhere for longevity too, not just short term.
Yeah. And that's probably a word we didn't use enough on this pod, but like, it is about longevity. It's about, personalized health, personalized medicine. It is about frictionless experiences, and it is about, living longer, living better when you're living. Like, that's the thing. Like, it's not just about adding years. It's about making those years count.
100%. All right. So out of all of the peptides you've taken, we're obviously LR3 for building muscle. But other than that, what do you think, like if somebody came to you and they were like, hey, what are 3 peptides that you recommend for me? Just a general, just, male, female, young, old. What's your stack that you're going to give them?
BPC TB, just heal, recover faster, feel great. It also does a lot of good things for your gut. BBC does. NAD plus, just energize, get energized. And then for me, probably the lesser is, it'd probably be a split decision between Cimex for clear thinking and mental clarity, crushing it at work, or DSIP, which is because like so much of like the success I've had, I attribute to having really locked in when it comes to my sleep.
Yeah, sleep's the biggest thing.
Yeah, sleep's
That's
huge.
when you build muscle, burn fat.
Yeah, your body is oxidizing fat and repairing muscle. Coming back with 18.5, 19-inch biceps in the morning.
This guy.
Yeah.
I remember when I got my sleep intact, I was like blown away. Like I used to sleep for like, 10, 11 hours, and I would still wake up just not feeling good. And then you hop on DSIP, I start wearing this Whoop so I could tell, what my restorative sleep is, my REM and deep.
Yeah.
And like that's what really matters. I found out, and just setting yourself up for that, giving your body what it needs to be in that state.
Yeah. And a couple other little hacks I've had is just I try to catch light early. I'm a really early riser. We work out at like 5 in the morning.
Yeah.
A lot of days I've dragged this 25-year-old into the gym
100%.
5-6 days a week, and I keep getting earlier and earlier. My energy levels are great. But I try to look at sun early as possible because that's really good. Vitamin D. Don't underestimate the power of being outside and looking into the sun. And another thing, I don't drink, and that's probably important for everybody out there. I don't have any sort of it's not a religious thing to me. It's not a judgmental thing for me, but alcohol in every way is toxic. So if you're trying to optimize, it is a bit of a hack if you can avoid it. Like I said, it can be fun. I've had my times and stuff. But I think when you're trying to get yourself into absolute top form, maybe the only thing that's worse is energy drinks.
That is something that I need to work on. Probably. Probably not there yet, but one day I'll stop drinking these guys right here.
You're young. You'll be okay.
But yeah, all right. Got some rapid fire questions
all right,
for
let's
you.
go.
But they're just off the rip, so you got to answer fast. You can't think about them.
I don't think.
All right, one sec. Are you ready?
Let's go.
Coffee or pre-workout?
Pre-workout.
NAD or Samorelin?
NAD.
Free weights or machines?
Free weights.
5 a.m., 5 p.m.
5 a.m.
Money or health?
Health.
Ooh, I want to know that one.
You want to know more?
That was the only question.
I mean, who cares if you have money if you're not healthy?
Yeah, I mean, that's
That was the dumbest of them.
Well,
it was a kind of a thoughtful question, but
I just want to know.
Yeah.
It's off the rip. I would have said the same thing, health.
Yeah.
Because there's no point of having money if you don't have health. Just be old.
Yeah.
Just sucks. Couldn't do anything with the money.
Well, even just not having your health, you don't even have to be old. You just be not healthy.
Yeah.
Think about when your back hurts. What would you give for your back to hurt less?
I'd give it a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Poor Jack here.
I tried to keep up with Dan in the gym is what happened, dude. This guy wakes me up at 5:30 a.m. to come to the gym.
That was not an early day. That did not happen on an early day. That happened when Nate and you brought those other guys in. That was the day it happened, when you had all the other guys there.
It was still early.
It wasn't that early. It was like 9, 10 a.m. on a weekend.
Dude, it was not 10 a.m.
It was probably 10 a.m.
No, because we were opening up the downtown store that day.
It was not that late.
It was.
We were opening at like noon. It was weekend.
No.
It was a weekend. It was a weekend. It was Saturday.
I'm pretty sure we opened.
All good, though.
But yeah, anyways, I was trying to keep up with him, and this guy wakes me up at 5:30. Just pisses me off straight off the bat every single morning.
You don't have to come.
What?
Nobody's making you do it.
I know. I like doing it. It pushes me. I just got pushed a little too far one day. Messed up my back.
He doesn't go low enough on his squats.
No, I go low enough on my squats. He just wants my ass on the ground.
I just want you to do a proper form.
Oh,
It's not a lot to ask.
dude.
Do it correctly.
Yeah.
I want you to optimize yourself. I was trying to help you.
I was trying.
High integrity.
Dude, the thing is, I wasn't scared about getting injured ever because I was like, oh, I don't care. I'll just take some BPC and TB and I'll be good to go.
Yeah.
I didn't count on it being like a structural problem, like my SI joint, going out of place, dude. I didn't think that would happen.
So Jack proves that peptides can't fix everything.
Yeah, there's
just
one, just like if your bone's out of place, it's not going to snap it back.
But it can make you feel better about how bad you feel.
Yeah.
A little NAD.
Little NAD, dude.
I'm not as sad that I'm no longer able to lift heavy.
Yeah. This guy. Dude, it is. It's humbling lifting with you because he's 44 and kicks my ass in literally every single lift except calf raises.
Did you beat me in calf raising?
Yeah, I did beat you in calf raising.
I do have thin calves.
Yeah, that's the one exercise I have on this guy. And I'll probably never do them again with him so that I can just always win. Yeah. I can just always say
We should probably exit by telling them what happened when you and I ran sprints. And then we should probably tell them how it went with Killian because that should really be on the record.
Killian is the one.
So that's
Yeah,
it's
Dan
kind of
beat
funny.
me.
But,
Yeah.
I mean, we ran like 50s, probably about 50, 60 yard. Jack was telling me because he was a football player, pretty good football player back in high school, and like, let's go run sprints on the track at the HCI, the health club we're at. And like, I think I surprised you. I was pretty fast.
Dude, this guy's stupid quick. I was like,
I ran away from him, but then the other your other partner, our other partner in the business, right? Killian. He's like, oh, I'm faster than you, Jack. And then he goes out. So we're walking laps, and I get to the end. I'm like, are you ready? And I picked up a 15-pound medicine ball. And I'm like, all right, I'll sprint against you with this medicine ball in my hand. And I like beat him by like a good distance in the 50 while I was holding a 15-pound medicine ball.
He didn't do that with me. I want that on the record.
Yeah.
Didn't happen to me.
I didn't have the medicine ball, but I probably had enough gap. I could have done it with the medicine
Oh, we'll
ball.
never know. Because I'll tell you one thing I'm never doing again is fucking racing Dan. I'll tell you that one.
Yeah, that'd be fun though. Maybe someday when there will be a point where you'll be like my age and I'll still be optimized. You know those great Instagrams that show like me at 70, like still ripping while listening to Creed and deadlifting 500 pounds? That's going to be me. I'm still going to be, might not be Creed, but it's going to be like in that kind of like genre.
Still 10 needles a day, 10 peptides.
I hope they find a way to make that easier.
Well, they do. I mean, they are. Like, you know, they got the glow stack. That's, you know, and what's really cool is we have a bunch of different combinations. Yeah. Like you probably don't have to be taking 10 needles a day. Like we could probably get that down to probably like 5.
Yeah, that'd be cool. We should work about that.
Yeah.
But I mean, some of it's because we're in the business and I'm investing. I'm trying to understand I'm trying to understand.
That's not a lie. You just want to get big. You just want to get bigger and leaner.
Leaner, bigger. Anyway, yeah, this is good stuff.
Cool. Thanks for tuning in, guys. This is the end of episode numero uno. Follow along, like, comment, share. I don't know what it does, but I'm sure it helps the algorithm. And we'll see you next time. Go get optimized. Boom.